Hello. Hi. Hello. I'm Natalie, and this is. What is the title? I'm not sure. But basically, this podcast, this YouTube episode is giving blah 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 blah. It's giving chit chat, it's giving podcast. It's giving podcast. I won't lie. I won't lie. It's gonna be straight up chip for a while. It's giving variety show jokes, but I mean it is a variety show because it's podcast, it's visuals, and it's character, and it's chit chat. Oh, that's podcast. That is where the chit chat is. But yeah, welcome. I'm Natalie, your host. I'm trying something new. I don't know yet. I think I'm just trying. And maybe it's just gonna be one episode where I literally just chit chat and just like literally put my heart out. It's like low key therapy. I should research more because this is gonna be a mess. This is gonna be a mess, but it's fine. Like I said, this is actually just for me to express and regurgitate. Not regurgitate. What's this word? Purge. This morning I was like, okay, cool. It could be called the practice. And why I say that is, I'm not talking doctor practice or whatever. I'm speaking more like artistic practice because, I'm an artist. But yeah, I was thinking of calling it the practice because every time you do something consistently, artistically, it adds to your practice. And I was like, okay, cool. If I start a podcast and I keep doing it, and I navigate myself and my practice and my life and my career through this podcast, then it could be called the practice because I would be, kind of archiving how I feel and what I think about what I'm doing and others around me, and just like how I feel emotionally, how I'm growing, the life practice. So not necessarily artistic practice, but the practice, my practice. And I take my life now very similar to like an artistic practice. So that was a name option this morning. That hit me hard. Life is just one big cosplay, and honestly, like, we're figuring it out every day as the self we want to be and the self we are given the opportunity to be, and also like the self we can be within the restraints of our own lives. And I feel like having a practice is what takes you from the point of like circumstance to measured outcome. You know what I'm saying? Practice equals circumstance, arrow equals measured outcome. Quick math. But yeah, I literally said it's blah blah blah. Like, I literally in the beginning I said it's chit chat, it's blah blah blah, which means the way the articulation comes out might not be perfect, but I think you hear what I'm saying, and I hope that you can like sit through this. Anyways, let me keep talking about practice. My personal practice, my artistic practice. How depressing, but how like beautiful and fulfilling at the same time. So I'm a digital artist, as some might know. Anyway, bro, my artistic practice has been a really, really interesting one. For me personally, it's grown me. my artistic practice is me. Like, it's a bit self-obsessed at this point. Like, this is it, actually. Me chilling in front of a camera and just there on the internet. And it's been 5 years. I realized the other day when applying for something, and I was like, wow, I've been practicing for 5 years. That's really cool. And I can see that I've grown a lot. I think now I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, I need to develop my practice, and I need to develop my understanding of a practice, because the way I've always done it is because of imposter syndrome. But because of my, imposter syndrome, I kind of never fully developed my practice. I feel like imposter syndrome always makes you stop and start. So I've had my practice for 5 years. I've been developing my practice for about 5 years in digital art. And yeah, so I just started recording myself and putting it online. And then people ask me what I am. I would just be like, I'm a digital artist. And then I became one. And then people started recognizing me as one. And I was like, okay, I guess I am that. Even though I felt like I was just calling myself that, it's what I was already practicing. And in my head, it always felt like I was just like selling a dream. But honestly, it's like, it is what you're doing. You are recording and you are editing. You are creating packages and packaging it as art and putting it online and talking about a specific framework. You are a digital artist. But what I'm realizing is, because I feel so much of those questions and the fear and the rejection of what I am, my practice is like stagnant at times, because I'm always like stopping and starting and questioning myself and leaving and trying to find another way to do this and coming back and turning around and exposing myself and crying and getting back into my shell and then slowly coming out again and re-navigating every single time. Re-navigating, I wonder if that's a word, but that's really what it's been. I'm also realizing that I've never had the opportunity, now is that true or is that false? That sounds false. That sounds false. Not the opportunity, girl. Opportunity? I've had opportunities, actually, like many opportunities, to continue my practice, to be consistent with my practice, to take my practice somewhere. But I think, like I said, imposter syndrome is a beach. The girl is a beach. She will literally like make you question everything, throw you back at the back of the line, all of a sudden, front of the line, all of a sudden, I don't think so. Back. What the hell? Like, let me get somewhere. Most practices is like an everyday labor, like waking up, creating something, finishing it, or waking up and working on a long-term project, finishing it, publishing it, sharing it, doing the write-ups, cataloging it, archiving it, all of those things are part of a practice. And I'm just also like wondering, where do young black women in South Africa, my context, get the opportunity to get that information? Because I've been feeling like a mess for a while. Because sometimes I feel like I'm looking to the future with my practice. So I'm like, okay, cool. I am creating something that in 10 years maybe I'll be a pioneer. Maybe, maybe I'll be a pioneer. But at the same time, I also have huge doubts about possibly being a digital art pioneer, because we live in the digital age. So like, why would somebody value what I do when their whole experience is digital anyway? And they can engage with what I do, or better. So this is me, Natalie. Present, past, future dreams, right? That's a diagram. Venn diagram, that's me. Now, for me to create the kind of work I create, which is utopian, dream world building centered, I have to do a lot of internal work. I have to literally jump into myself and navigate. I have to literally figure out, how do I feel? Visualizations. How would this look? How does it look? Really connect to it. Really connect to the otherworldly. Because in order to create these kind of images, you have to be centered and connected to that otherworldly, trippy perspective. And that is a lot of like internal work. So you really have to like go inside yourself, right? So let's imagine right now I'm inside myself. Cool. Let's say I spend 5 days. It's true. Like, I can sometimes spend 5 days without working because I had to be inside myself for 5 days, emotionally, mentally, physically. Sometimes that just looks like cleaning my room like every single day. And so confusing, like how my room gets so super messy. But I have to keep doing that. But inside, I'm doing like a physical, repetitive action on the outside. But inside, I'm literally like zen, chilling inside, navigating my kidneys, my heart, my brain. And then I come out, right? And I sit and I have to breathe because I just experienced a lot and I'm back in the world again. And I've had to do both those jobs of being inside and outside, like present in my real life, present with people, and presence with people and life is another intense labor. Like we all know that we living, right? Then I have to record. So now I have to take my physical body and put it in front of a camera and let everything I felt come out, everything I feel come out, and trust that what's coming out is exactly like it's measured. It's what needs to come out. It's what I was working on. It's what I was prepping for. Cool. I take that. Now it's digital. It's a file. I take the file. So basically, honey, I have taken myself, digitized, zip file. There we are. Have the digital file. Have the digital file now. Now I have the file. I put that into the computer. Now I've got a bunch of videos. Okay, cool. Now I have like a bunch of videos and I have to sit through this and like watch myself be bye and turn this into the feeling, the thoughts, the ideas, and connect really deeply to that process. And then I'm gonna sell it to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a really, 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 really weird one. And I actually can't explain it to people in a better way. And that's why I feel like my practice doesn't feel real to me most times, because that just doesn't feel like a serious job. That just doesn't feel like a serious job. Every day everyone's waking up and rushing and stuff. I'm just here. It's all that labor. And then just the expectation of like the world understanding that and compensating you for that because you use like skills and etc and etc. And in the greater sense, the work is worth it. The work is, speaking to a greater context than my own, greater feelings than my own. It is art. It is doing something. But I also just like don't understand the point anymore. And that's just the truth. That's on I guess that's right, because I honestly am at the point where a practice is, or I'm at the point where I think I'm not fulfilled by my practice. I think I'm held by my practice, but I don't think it's like equal yet, where like what you put in measures to what you get out. And I also just feel like I don't have the right guidance to do that right now. Like, who can guide me? I feel like structures that are basically there to help you, and structures that we're like basically told will help us and guide us, it's often like super anticlimactic, dude. Like, showing at galleries is really dope. but also, you know, there's no framework for this thing. So you can put a lot in, and that's like financial, emotional, and like just time. Put a lot in, show somewhere, and just because it's like here and it's new, like all that work lands on the experience, but it doesn't measure up yet. And I don't know if this is like a thing about the context of what I'm doing as a digital artist or my execution. I think my execution obviously plays like a huge part in it. And I would need to figure out, how much am I putting in? How much have I been putting in, for the expectations I have? I just kind of expect more. And I also expect more from myself. Like, I expect myself to have a better developed practice. The other day I woke up, right? And I woke up and I was like, what am I going to do today? And instantly my brain was like, bitch, honey. Okay, not bitch. That's another thing. Talking to yourself badly. Why you gotta do that? Shh. Rude. Be better to yourself. Love yourself. Anyway, yeah, so I woke up, right? Woke up, cool. And I'm like, what am I gonna do today? I wonder. And then I realized, like, do you know you're an artist? Do you know you have to, like, wake up, get ready, and work like any other person going to work? And I think there are many artists in the world who wake up and work on their practice, day in, day out. With digital, it just feels so different. I wish it was like something where I was painting and I had this huge canvas and I have the outline. No, you know how, like, painters, they prime the canvas. And I think that just feels so good, starting, priming the canvas, understanding what you're going to do, using the blue or the red pencil or ink to just like map out the image, what's it going to look like, the outline, and then slowly starting to fill in the colors, block colors, and then starting to work on the definition, the shadows, the highlights, and finishing off the image. That's just like how I understand a practice to be, and that's the framework I've understood like an artistic practice to be for years. And that's the framework that feels easiest because, well, it exists. There's been so many painters in this world. And so it's really easy to kind of just wake up and know that, well, I can wake up at 6 o'clock, skip, have breakfast, bath, bounce, go to my studio and paint. But as a digital artist, I just actually don't know what the fuck's going on. And I actually wish somebody could help me. And help me know that actually helps me more. Because I want to move from where I am now. And I feel like it's super, super stagnant. And the help that you get is like really helpful. But I'm just waiting to see the equals, the outcome. Waiting to see the value like reinserted. And this is not to say that like I'm not grateful for my career and the milestones I have made in my career, because I do feel like I've made quite a few and I'm really proud of myself. But I feel like there's just too many in-between moments where I actually just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I would really love to know so I could work better at it every day. Because I wake up and I don't know sometimes. And like constantly it feels like the practice, I feel like my practice is not knowing. Yeah, but totally, I feel like my practice is not knowing, being comfortable with not knowing, but also hating that I don't know and hating not knowing where to look, because it's super intimidating, man. Like, I work in the digital space, so I already know how things should look. I already have like ideas of what standard is, what quality is, what's high quality, what's low quality, what's amateur, what's, it just feels so silly to be recording green screen when 3D and CGI exist and you still fucking hear my bray. A practice is also pushing yourself enough to see something through, even if it doesn't start out easy, you know? Because sucking at something is the first step at being sort of good at something. And I think the practice is also practicing daily understanding failure or disappointment or not executing the perfect way but trying again. And I actually think that's what a practice is, constantly doing something even when it's like really really sore, and even when you're having like the real HD experience of seeing that it's not working out the way you wanted it to, or girl, or the literal real life HD client telling you that they are unhappy with what's happening, you know? And you being like, well, this is probably right, but I have to make you happy actually. And that just like why commercial would like kill me. It's like sucks your soul a bit because sometimes you feel like you understand something and sometimes it's not what they want. And that's just true. And I think, you know, in more of a commercial sense, that kind of practice is being able to execute according to a brief and literally being able to improvise if what you have given is not what was asked for, or it's what they asked for but it's not landing the way they wanted to land. I don't know, child, like I'm just gonna keep talking about this because for some reason I feel like I'm not the only one experiencing this and going through this, and I know I'm not. It just sucks that I have to, you know. Hi, bro. Hello. Okay, girl. Anyways, girl. Yeah, for some reason I feel like I'm not the only one experiencing this kind of thing in the world, and for some reason I think this, as hard as it is, cause this shit is hard. This right here is hard. Forget the practice. This right here is hard. Exposing your feelings, explaining them, understanding your own shortcomings, and trying to really look at yourself and see where you're getting in your own way. And then, girl, putting a camera in front of yourself and talking about that just so that you can get it out of you, but also so that maybe, I don't know, maybe someone in the world could possibly relate to how you feeling and the labor that you've done of literally taking your heart out, putting it there, just pa, pa. You know, is this where your heart is? Yeah, this is where my heart is. Yeah, anyway, like taking your heart out and putting it out and just exposing yourself and being raw, you know, for others to understand you, but for others to feel free within themselves and their shortcomings. Um, it's a crazy thing. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Thank you so much for literally listening to my blubber blabber babber. If anyone does, and I hope that people do. I don't know, girl. Everything's a start, and this shit is exhausting. Like, life is the practice, and I'm only 25, so I just literally don't understand the point of this intense, exhausting, emotional work that is like human existence in order to like fulfill your dreams. But I am fully wanting to fulfill my dreams. I'm fully wanting to push myself every day in order to see those things become a reality. But geez, it literally is pulling me by the hair of my chinny chin chin. It's really, really exhausting. And sometimes I just wish there was like more guidance for the kind of brand of human that we all are, so that it's a bit easier. And I think I can't relate that much, but I can kind of. I think some people, like, it's really easier, or not easier, but a lot of people like you exist in the world. So sometimes you can just kind of gravitate towards those people and live the experience with them and have that guidance. And that's where like mentorship and just, having older people around you who can help you kind of frame things better. But damn, like when you just haven't found that yet, it's crazy. It's crazy because you actually don't see the green pastures on the other side. You just see, you know, static. And you hope that it's not going to be static forever, but you also can't understand why, like, it wouldn't be if it's currently static. And it pushes you to try, like, diversify, change what you're doing. Yeah, nothing about practices. Like, you can keep doing so like, a practice is literal delusion. Actually, that's another thing. Let's talk about that. Why does nobody ever talk about how having a practice is actual delusion? Like, you're crazy because you have no because you have no like the you only have hope that there'll be like return on investment or understanding or like good reception, right? You only hope. And so you do this every single day of your life, hoping that the outcome will be positive to either you or others, Some people do it every single day, die, and that's when they pop off and get understood and are related to. And it's like, damn. So now my life every day I was crazy, delusional, doing this, not like receiving any of the flowers, not receiving any of the understanding, the rewards, the opportunities, the access. But one day, you're telling me one day it's gonna make sense to me. Like, that sounds like delusion to me. It sounds delusional to keep doing something that is not fully paying out or showing you that it's gonna have good results. And the only thing that's keeping you going every day is your understanding that you might possibly, maybe, some way, somehow, be successful in some industry related to what you're doing. But now, people won't understand, but just keep going, dog. Like, keep pushing. Nah, like, you keep doing your thing. People they see you. Like, I've heard that for so many years, You hear that for so many years. You hear people talk about, like, they were overlooked and they just keep going. And then one day, I feel like we're just in a simulation, Like, the simulation has chosen certain people that, cool, success, we're going to spotlight it with a camera. We're going to put on Instagram. Everyone's going to know them. I feel like the simulation does this. Like, the simulation picks a few individuals. Like, cool, you guys go inspire everybody. Make them think that one day, keep going, and then you're gonna get something. I personally don't feel like that's true. Well, I do think it's true because, like, that's what we're fed and told to believe, that, like, one day what you do will be successful. Hopefully, what you do will be successful. Or, like, one day what you do will have a positive outcome that will enrich your life. But I often feel like we're just in a simulation where we're just working and exerting a lot of energy and doing the absolute most every single day, fighting capitalism one thing at a time, going, you know? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And what keeps us going is knowing that there were people on this earth who were successful. And then you like go back to yourself and you look at yourself and you think, well, when I started, I used to be like this. And those people really motivated me and inspired me to work harder. And now I'm here. And now I know for sure that somebody else who wishes they could do something like this, or like I've been told, you know, like just those small interactions where somebody's like, whoa, it's really inspiring. And then they start. And then, you know, it's like, okay, cool. It's the inspiration that keeps on giving. But also, like, is it real? Like, can we get a bit of a... You can look into the future. You might think life will be... You know, I just need a That's So Raven moment into my future so I can keep developing my practice in this way. I also feel like the That's So Raven moment in life is when, like, life gives you a really cool opportunity or, like, really cool recognition to kind of just, like, boost you up again and, like, get you motivated and be like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. This is working out somehow. And then you go in again and you work. So, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck a practice is. This was meant to kind of unpack what is a practice. What is a practice? How does a practice work? Is a practice fulfilling? Artistic practice? Life practice? And just the functionings of a daily practice. Girl, I don't know. I have no clue. What I know is that I do not know. Let me tell you that. But thank you so much for coming, listening, and yeah, I am gonna hopefully make a different episode about something else next time. Thank you. Mwah. Mwah.